The real skill is noticing your patterns without judging them. See the craving not as failure, but as information about what's missing, what you truly want. For instance, if you drink to unwind after work, ask, what am I unwinding from? What stress am I avoiding? What would I need to feel truly at ease? This shift from fighting to understanding is what Jung called making the unconscious conscious. It's not about perfection, it's about awareness. Every time you pause and reflect, you weaken the grip of the old script, transforming the energy of cravings. No, let's take it further. Jung didn't believe in shortcuts, he believed in alchemy, the process of turning lead into gold, not by discarding what's dark or heavy, but by melting it down, understanding it, and transforming it through awareness. Your craving is like a spark, full of energy and potential. Most people waste that energy by fighting it, numbing it, or shaming themselves for feeling it. But what if you used that spark instead of trying to extinguish it? The alchemists believed every poison could become medicine if you knew the secret. Jung believed your addiction, your craving, is the raw material from which your new self can be forged. Turning poison into power starts with a shift in attitude. Instead of asking, how do I get rid of this feeling? Ask, what can I learn from it? How can I use its energy? Craving is energy, it's your mind's way of signaling that something needs to move. When the urge hits, don't waste it, channel it. If you crave a cigarette, use that moment to take a deep breath, move your body, or write a single honest sentence about what you're feeling. If you reach for your phone, pause and ask, what am I seeking? Connection, escape. Then find a small, intentional way to meet that need. Call a friend, journal, or step outside and feel the air. This is the difference between unconscious repetition and conscious transformation. For example, consider someone who binges on food when stressed. Instead of eating, they might try a ritual like brewing a cup of tea and sitting with their thoughts for 5 minutes. It's not about denying the urge, it's about redirecting its energy into something meaningful. Over time, these small acts rewire your relationship with yourself. You start to see cravings not as threats, but as opportunities to listen to your deeper needs. Building new rituals. Jung noticed that those who escaped addiction didn't just quit. They replaced one ritual with another, one pattern with something more meaningful. You need new rituals to harness the energy that used to fuel your cravings. If you always reach for a habit when stressed, try pausing and grounding yourself. Feel the floor beneath your feet. Take 10 slow breaths or write down one truth you're avoiding. If you numb your mind before sleep, try journaling a single sentence about what scared you that day. If you want to run from discomfort, challenge yourself to sit with it for 60 seconds. Naming it, breathing through it, letting it be. These small, intentional rituals are the tools of transformation. They don't have to be grand, just consistent. A ritual as simple as lighting a candle and reflecting for a minute each night can shift how you relate to your cravings. Jung wrote, the most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely. To accept your craving as a voice, not an enemy, is to begin healing for real. It's not about destroying the urge, but integrating the lost part of yourself that's crying for help. The path to individuation. Jung believed the purpose of life is individuation, the process of becoming whole by integrating all the lost, rejected, or feared parts of yourself. Addiction shows you where your wounds are, but also where your greatest potential lives. The shadow isn't your enemy, it's your guide to hidden strength, creativity, and resilience. Every time you pause and face your craving, you reclaim a piece of your power. You become less divided, more unified, more yourself. You might not feel free yet, and that's okay. Freedom isn't a single moment, it's a process, built through 1,000 small acts of courage. Every time you turn toward your pain instead of away from it, you weaken the chains. Every moment of curiosity is a victory over the old script. You're no longer the addict, the lost cause, the one who can't change. You become the observer, the chooser, the alchemist, someone who can hold pain, longing, and fear and still move forward with purpose. The hidden truth. There's the truth Jung reserved for his bravest students. Addiction isn't a curse. It's a teacher. It's not here to destroy you, but to show you where you're broken and where you're strong. The journey through addiction isn't just about quitting a habit. It's about discovering a new relationship with yourself. You realize you're stronger than you thought, wiser than you believed, more capable of holding discomfort than you ever imagined. You stop seeing yourself as broken and start seeing yourself as brave. Jung wrote, "I am not what happened to me. I am what I choose to become." That's your truth now. Addiction wants you to believe you're stuck forever. That's the lie. The real freedom comes from showing up, day after day, with honesty and courage. Every time the urge returns, see it as a Bella reminder to check in with your deepest self. Ask, what do I truly need right now? Connection, truth, meaning, rest. Then find a small, honest way to give it to yourself. Maybe it's a walk, a conversation, a moment of silence. Every time you do this, you weaken the old pattern and strengthen the new. The final challenge, you've made it to the end, proving you're not like most. You're ready to meet your cravings with curiosity, your shadow with compassion, your wounds with the willingness to heal. So here's your final challenge. The next time the urge arises, don't fight it, don't run. Use it as a signal to pause and ask, what does my soul hunger for? Then take one small step toward meeting that need. It won't be perfect, and it doesn't have to be. Real transformation is measured by your willingness to show up honestly, day after day. No matter what. If this resonated, share your story in the comments. What craving are you facing? What truth is it asking you to see? Your honesty could inspire someone else to start their journey. Subscribe for more deep dives into the psyche. And check out my ebook, Beyond the Shadow, in the pinned comment for tools to transform your relationship with yourself. The next video will take you further into Jung's wisdom for living bravely. Keep watching, because the more you face your shadow, the less it controls you. The freedom you seek is waiting just beneath the craving, just inside the fear, just on the other side of the shadow. You'll never let addiction win again. Not after this. There's a truth about addiction most people never hear, a secret that can set you free if you let it sink in. But it's not a quick fix or a simple trick. It's a truth that demands your full attention, your courage, and your willingness to face what you've spent years avoiding. If you watch until the very end, you'll uncover it. Don't look away, because missing this might mean staying trapped forever in a cycle you don't fully understand. You probably don't realize how much of your life is shaped by battles you can't see. Addiction isn't just about cigarettes, alcohol, food, or scrolling your phone late at night. It's not even about drugs or gambling or the obvious vices society points to. It's deeper, older, more primal and ancient war inside you. A battle between what you want in the moment and what you truly need to become whole. Between the comfort of escape and the courage to face yourself. Between the shadow, the parts of you you've buried, and the self you're meant to become. Carl Jung, one of the greatest explorers of the human psyche, saw addiction not as a moral failing or a lack of willpower, but as a symptom, a message from the soul crying out for attention. In The Ego and the Unconscious, he wrote, "People will do anything, no matter how absurd, to avoid facing their own souls." Addiction isn't about weakness, it's about fear, the fear of meeting your real self in the dark, where your pain, your shame, and your unspoken dreams live. Imagine you're alone in your room. The world is asleep around you. You feel that familiar itch, that quiet pull towards something that promises to make the pain go away. You know it's temporary. You know it won't last. But in that moment, all you want is relief. So you light the cigarette. You open the app. You pour the drink. You lose yourself for a little while, hoping you can forget what you're trying so hard not to feel. But when the high fades, the crash comes, then the shame, the guilt, the silent promise to never do it again. And yet, the question lingers, why do I keep doing this? Even when I know how it ends. Most people see cravings as enemies, monsters, to be fought, suppressed, or hidden. But Jung's philosophy turns this upside down. He believed every urge, every compulsion, is a messenger, a part of your psyche trying to speak a truth your conscious mind has refused to hear. Think about it. If you were perfectly content, perfectly whole, what would you need to numb? What would you need to escape? Cravings are the language of the soul's pain. Addiction isn't just about chemicals or habits, it's about what's missing in your life. It's not a battle of strength, it's a puzzle of meaning. This is why so many fail to break free. They focus on discipline, on just saying no, but never ask the deeper question, what is this urge trying to tell me? What part of me have I locked away, hoping it will disappear? In Jung's psychology, the shadow is everything you've rejected about yourself, your fears, your shame, your desires, your potential you're too afraid to claim. The more you hide your shadow, the more power it gains. Addiction is the shadow's favorite disguise. It shows up as comfort, a cigarette, a drink, a screen, but it feeds on your silence, whispering, "You're not enough, you're alone, you'll never change." Every addiction is a mask for pain. Most people spend their lives rearranging that mask, swapping one habit for another, chasing temporary relief, never realizing that true transformation begins only when you dare to look beneath it. We live in a culture obsessed with self-control. Just say no, be strong, get disciplined. But if that worked, you wouldn't be here, searching for answers. Jung would argue that the shadow isn't defeated by force, it's transformed by attention. Imagine trying to push a beach ball underwater. The harder you press, the more it fights back, exploding to the surface stronger than before. This is how most people live, suppressing, denying, fighting their cravings. But the craving always returns, because it's not the enemy, it's a signal. The real question isn't how to suppress it, but how to understand it. Here's where things shift. The next time you feel the urge, don't run, don't fight. Just notice, pause, and ask yourself, what am I really looking for right now? Is it comfort, distraction, love, connection? The simple act of observation is the beginning of self-mastery, not becoming the craving, but stepping back to see it clearly. You might notice a story running in your mind: fear of failure, loneliness, a sense of missing out. Maybe it's a voice that says you'll never be free. But as you notice, you create a gap, a space where you can choose differently. Most people never get this far. They're too busy, too numb, too scared to face what's hidden in the dark. But you, right now, are already different. Your curiosity is the first act of rebellion against addiction's power. Jung believed every addiction, every shadow, is an invitation. Your craving is asking, what have you refused to feel? What part of you needs to be heard, healed, or welcomed? Home healing doesn't start by declaring war on yourself. It starts by making peace with your wounds, your longing, your forgotten dreams. Most people will never do this. They'll fight, fail, blame themselves, and repeat the cycle. But those who dare to ask deeper questions find something far more valuable than relief. They find themselves. This video isn't about a miracle cure, it's about a mirror showing you the parts you've avoided. If you can face them, even for a moment, you can begin to write a new story. Let's go deeper into Jung's method for breaking the cycle of addiction, exploring how to listen to your cravings, transform their energy, and build a path to wholeness. And at the end, you'll uncover the hidden truth Jung reserved for his bravest students, a truth that can turn addiction into a teacher, not a curse. Stay with me, because the breakthrough is closer than you think. Music transition, understanding the cravings message. If you've made it this far, you're already different. Most people spend their lives running from discomfort, never stopping to ask what's really pulling the strings behind their cravings. Jung called this state possession, when an unconscious force takes control, and you're just along for the ride. You say, I don't want to do this, but your hands move. Your habits take over, and you feel like a stranger in your own skin. How many times have you promised yourself never again, only to find yourself circling back to the same habit, pulled by an invisible tide? The ancient philosopher Epictetus wrote, "No person is free who is not master of themselves." But Jung's genius was to show that self-mastery isn't about fighting the tide. It's about learning to read the currents underneath. Addiction isn't just an action, it's a ritual, a script you perform when you feel lost, lonely, or overwhelmed. Every ritual holds meaning. Every habit is a clue. You don't crave the cigarette, the drink, or the endless scroll for no reason. There's always a trigger, a feeling, an event, a thought that makes the world feel too much or too little. Maybe it's the stress of a long day. Maybe it's the silence before sleep. Maybe it's seeing someone else succeed while you feel stuck. The craving arrives not as a command, but as a comfort, whispering, let's not feel this right now. Let's forget. Let's disappear. But what if, just for a moment, you didn't run? What if you turned toward the craving, as Jung would, and asked, why are you here? The answer might surprise you. Maybe it's not about the thing itself, but the feeling you're trying to avoid: loneliness, fear of not being enough, the echo of a childhood wound still unhealed. Philosophy teaches us to ask questions, even when the answers hurt. Psychology gives us the courage to sit with discomfort until it reveals what we need to know. For example, imagine you reach for your phone every time you feel anxious. The scroll feels soothing, but what's really happening? Maybe it's a fear of being alone with your thoughts, a need for validation, or a way to avoid a decision you're scared to make. By pausing and naming the feeling, this is anxiety, this is loneliness, you pull the craving into the light. Jung believed in the magic of names. What you can name, you can tame. The act of naming creates distance between you and the urge, giving you the power to choose. The limits of willpower: you've heard it 1,000 times. Be disciplined. Use willpower. But here's the secret no one tells you: willpower is exhaustible. Every time you resist a craving, you're drawing from a finite well. When you're tired, stressed, or overwhelmed, that well runs dry, and the old pattern returns. Jung compared the unconscious to a vast ocean and your conscious will to a small boat. If you only focus on rowing harder, you'll tire out. But if you learn to read the waves, to anticipate the storms, you can navigate with far less struggle.